Well, it says that we're live. So, what's going on, fellow packbusters and golden turtle dudes, or whatever his people are called? Welcome to the HydroPump Pokecast episode 3. Thank you for joining us today. I know that we had some last minute technicalities in switching channels and whatnot, but we thank you all for being here. And with that, I think we're gonna test this. That the intro works. So let's try it.
You got
All right, I think it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
So sweet.
What is up, Dave? What is up, Z? What is up, Sudan? What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? So today we're going to start out like we normally always do with some sales, some purchases. I kind of want to segment into market trends just because I think they kind of intertwine a little bit.
Is it crazy?
What's that?
I said it's a crazy.
It is crazy. So, how's modern stuff going? You want to start?
It's kind of rough right now. I guess it's kind of all over the board. The staple cards that I normally am getting rid of quite a bit, Jirachis, Denes, etc., has been kind of tough because nobody's playing. But at the same time, I've had quite a few people hitting me up to help complete like Hidden Fates master sets with like reverses, other sets to complete reverses. I think I've had 3 people reach out to me this week at least just for reverses alone to help complete master sets. A lot of people hitting me up for Hidden Fates, like one-off cards, Hidden Fates. And then sold a bunch of Hidden Fates and some booster boxes this week to somebody that needed them for some channel openings. Not going to mention who, but we did have that this week. But the modern side is really tough right now.
Yeah, and you hit me up. Man, my days are just running together. It was like middle of the week with 10s at Pokemon Center released. Those are a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
like a steal.
Yeah, I think that was like Monday or Tuesday. It was like out of nowhere that it had happened and whatnot. You are not coming over here. Sorry, I've got a little one here. You don't have your clothes on for the day, so you're not going to come over and say hi.
Gotta get dressed.
What?
Yeah. So they
Can
were.
we open those Pikachus?
The
Not right now.
X-Pens that came out through Pokemon
But
Center.
we can't open it today.
They were full of EX Flashfire. They were.
We can do it, okay? Let me finish this.
What else did they have? They
Can
had
you do those?
Yes, when I'm done with this, but you have to be quiet and
Legendary
Daddy
Collection, I think it was.
Okay.
And then Plasma Freeze were in some of them. But yeah, this popped up out of nowhere. I know as soon as you told me. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that kind of got froze out of them. But I know you told me I bought 15, you bought 15. I think I bought 5 of each, so I kept 1 of each sealed, and then I opened the rest. And I have them just open. Bryce and I are going to open up some of them, but that was a steal, like $17, and they're at least double, depending. I mean, because not all the 10s have the same packs in them, but they're at least double. Instant. As soon as you bought them, they were worth double what you paid for them.
Yeah, the chestnut tins, I actually have them. I opened a set of them just for this today. I'm sorry that the little one came in, but Christy's trying to study, so I might have to deal with kids. The chestnut one came with 2 Flashfire, Plasma Blast, and an XY base. And then the Xerneas and Yveltal one came with 2 XY base, Legendary Treasures, and then another Plasma Blast. So they were definitely worth it. But trying to get back to at least on the modern side of the house, it's just been really tough. No play. it makes it a little bit rougher. But I know a lot of people are waiting for Rebel Clash on the first. There's some like really good cards in there. Trainer Wolf is asking what we're looking forward to the most with the new set coming out. So I'll hold off on that until after this initial segment, and we'll just add it to the list for today. And that's really about it for Modern.
Yeah, like for me, like with Rebel Clash, the only thing I'm really looking is just open it. Like I said, I don't get into like the deck building as much as you do. So for me, it's just opening it up and seeing all the new card artwork. I am trying to start the hashtag pregnant Charizard movement, because if you guys, a lot of people are opening the Japanese Charizard box, and I swear that the VMAX Charizard looks like he's pregnant or she's pregnant. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that, but it's also doesn't look like that's going to be obviously in Rebel Clash. So I didn't go as hard buying them as I would have if that was in Rebel Clash.
Yeah, I cut my order in half. So
what's that?
I cut my order in half. I had bought 2 cases just for us, and then I cut it in half. I got rid of half. I mean, I still bought them both, but we worked something out, and I had some other things with some other people. So
yeah, I think even with the new releases in Japan, I think Charizard will be in the next one though, right? I'm pretty sure he will be. So probably go harder after that one, and then after all the coronavirus stuff goes down, then you can kind of get back to like playability and like deck building and stuff like that, because you're kind of limited on what you can do. But flip side to like the vintage side has gone crazy. And to be honest, I've watched so many different videos with TCA and Z and G. Like there's really no you can't pinpoint why it has gone up so much. I mean, we're talking about in a few weeks like I was telling you before we came on, is like a unlimited jungle box, maybe like $3,500 or mid $3,000. I mean, that's just crazy for an unlimited box. I mean, we're talking about, it wasn't a few months ago, like that's where first edition was, and we're talking about it a few months back, we're talking about $1,000. So it's shot up so crazy, and everybody was kind of wondering what would happen to the market with like basically everything being shut down and people losing their jobs or getting furloughed or whatever the case may be. But I can't even pinpoint it. Like I've been selling tons of stuff. Like I bought a box of the theme decks, and they sold like in a day. So I bought another one, and now I'm down to like 2 left. And it's just all the sealed stuff. Like I've been lucky, and I've won a bunch of. I've showed you. I think they're or whatever, a bunch of blisters and stuff, and those things are just skyrocketing in price. And booster packs are just the regular packs are skyrocketing in price. And I think what you're also seeing is, at least for me, because I always go through eBay and kind of just look through and see what's for sale. I'm seeing less PSA cards for sale, believe it or not, because I'm always checking the market trying to because I'm collecting certain sets, and there's just not as many available, and I don't know if people are just holding on to them because PSA is closed, and then once it reopens, they're not taking bulk, they're only taking like an order of whatever is considered not bulk. Yeah. So I mean, people don't know what exactly that's going to do for the pricing of cards. As far as the people that do have cards now, they're going to be able to either sell them for a lot or they're holding on to them. Because you'll see a lot of first edition cards, PSA 10s, are shooting up in price and they're becoming scarce. It's crazy, and I don't know. I really can't point my finger to it. I don't know if a lot of, because unemployment's obviously really high. But then we're starting to get our stimulus checks in the mail, because I've actually got that in the mail. And I don't know if the people that were able to afford the vintage stuff, like the boxes and stuff before this happened, I'm thinking most of those people still are able to for these types of things because either they're working from home and they haven't been laid off, and then if you give them all money on top of that, then it's just more extra money for them to spend. But I mean, I can't even, and it's not just like us that don't know why, but like it's everybody's kind of talked about it in their channels, and they just, who knows? Like S and Pratt, nobody really knows why vintage is skyrocketing, and nobody can predict that once we do go back, is this price going to stay there? I just don't see stuff falling. But I just don't see stuff falling, because once you have it and it's set at a certain price, I don't know. There's not a lot of people that are going to be willing to say, oh, well, they're just going to all of a sudden start selling the stuff for cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, because the more the stuff becomes more scarce, the less there is on the market, and they're not going to all of a sudden say, well, okay, well, coronavirus is over and the economy is getting back to normal, so we'll start selling stuff for cheaper. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I see it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I see it plateauing for longer than it has in the past. Trainer Wolf, he's like, I think people that were buying before are just buying more, and I agree with that, because at least like the avenues that we're in, like I think you've bought a whole lot more during Corona just because it's been more readily available, and at times a little bit cheaper when you can find it. And then I just think that there's a lot of these guys are just buying it up, and it's going to plateau. And they're buying it because people that were holding on to it are selling a lot more. So like Facebook Marketplace, like if you look at it, there's tons and tons of sealed vintage products going up left and right of people that were probably holding on to it, didn't want to sell, but they had to sell, right? And so I think it's driving it up a little bit because people are looking for money and people are buying it up because they can. But I think it's gonna have to plateau once this whole thing's over, because people are gonna have money. They're not gonna be as desperate, and I think the people that are hoarding it now or buying as much as they can are gonna see it kind of even out for a little bit longer than we normally see it. At least that's where I see it going. And then
I know some people have messaged me like, "Hey, I'm gonna spend $5,000 on a base set box that was $4,000 a month ago. That was $35 a month before that. If I buy it at $5,000, once everything kind of corrects itself, is it all of a sudden I'm gonna no? I'm not gonna take a $1,500 hit, because it's just gonna stay where it's at. It's just not gonna rise as rapidly as it has been rising. Like for an example, like I just got a first edition Gym Heroes box, and the reason I got that is because I think it's just one of many reasons why things are the way they are. But there's a buddy that I actually sold a mystery box to, and the interest rate right now is crazy low. I think he's in the process of buying a house, and it's like 1.9%. So he's so right now what's more important is him buying a house, and he's unloading a bunch of his vintage collection to put on a down payment. So that's just one of a reason why he's selling a bunch of stuff, and his stuff became on the market. And I bought some booster packs or blister packs from him. So it's like, that's just one of the reasons. I don't think you can point to one reason. I just think it's just the market's so volatile right now that there's just so many different reasons why stuff is the way it is. And like, I don't know when it's going to stop, but it's, as of today, it's still kind of that crazy. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, at least what I'm seeing, is a lot of people that I've talked to that are willing to, like, when they buy a box, to break it and start raffling off packs or selling the pack. They're actually sitting on the boxes for a while because they don't want to sell a pack of like Jungle for $80 and then they sell out, and then a month later people are selling them for 120. I think they're even kind of in a wait and see mode and kind of see where is it going to kind of plateau, and then once it plateaus, then I'll open up a box and start selling it there, because nobody wants to sell a pack and then, like, if people were selling Jungle packs for like $40 a month ago, and now it's just a month later they're selling for 80. People don't want to sit back and have seller's remorse that they just a month earlier they're selling it for like $40 less than what they're selling it for now. So I think people are kind of sitting a little bit, and and I think once it kind of plateaus, you'll see more stuff available. But I think a lot of people are buying it up and kind of sitting and waiting and see where is this going to plateau and where are we going to kind of settle in and then start selling stuff again, because
Probably.
it's just crazy. Because even if it was me, if I was selling packs at $40 a month ago and now all of a sudden they're 80, you're kind of like, dang, man, I should just waited a little bit longer and I could have got double. So I think a lot of people are kind of doing the same thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree. I'm just trying to get to some of these people, some of the people that are over here. I posted the Rebel Clash set list on in a link in chat. And then there's some talk about the Charizard. Charizard's not in this set. Hopefully it will be in the next one, along with Sudon Stunfisk, the Stinkfish V, that he's really looking forward to. But Trainer Wolf asked us, what are we looking forward to the most? I don't know if you've looked at the set. The things that I'm looking forward to the most are absolutely the Boss's Way. The link goes nowhere. Great. Mine worked. Oh, it does go nowhere. Never mind. All right. Sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll try and put it up again. The Boss's Way will probably be the most playable card in the set. It'll be a 4 of in just about every deck for the next 2 years or so, unless something comes out to counteract it. But the card's basically broken. And then the Gold Frostmoth is super sexy. And then the Gold Galarian Berserker thing is pretty cool. So, I mean, that's really it. The Boss's Way is going to be the way to go. The 2 new energy cards are going to be staples in just about every Psychic or Lightning deck. They're both super on point for playability. So I think Pokemon did well with the trainer side of the house. And there's some Pokemon in there, but in terms of like things that I'm looking forward to, is that stuff for sure.
Yeah, I think Zen is onto something too. He's like, I'm bored, so I just buy things. And I think that's part of it, right?
Oh
like,
my God,
me,
I've been so bad about it.
I understand, like for me, people have reached out, and when I see stuff like on, like if people not putting out a bunch of content because they don't have stuff, like I've been reaching out to those and like selling stuff because I've been in a position where like I've been able to work from home, so like, and then I get a a check or stimulus package, and it just goes on top of what I'm, you know what I mean? So it's like bonus for me. So I've been reaching out and trying to help those that in the Pokemon community and in real life that like need help. But it's the same thing. Like I'm just like, you're sitting at home, you're going through eBay, like I'm raffling every night because like I'm sitting there, I'm switching between you playing online, me raffling, and watching Ozark. I mean, that's what I'm doing at night. So it's like I've got lucky to where like I've won a lot of raffles, but it's the same thing. Like if you're sitting there and you're just trying to find stuff to do, and I mean, you can't go anywhere else, and people want to buy because they want stuff to do. They're bored. So yeah, I'm definitely in that boat where people are probably buying because they're bored. I mean, it is what it is.
I think you and I are both in the same boat. I mean, we pretty much, people that don't know us or talk to us a lot, we text each other back and forth pretty much all night. And we're always like, hey man, I found this, or I found that, or somebody will hit me up and they'll be like, hey, like, did you see that somebody's selling this? And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I've got nothing else to do. I'll go over there. And, like when we stream PTCGO at night, like I'll look at, I'll kind of scroll through and I'll be like, oh, I can't believe that this is for sale. Stuff like that. So, we try to. And then I've been working with just going into the small business stuff, smaller shops or smaller people that are selling stuff or trying to offload because they're having a hard time. I've helped a couple out and, trying to buy their stuff, maybe a little bit more than I normally would spend. But one was trying to offload a lot of stuff because they're having some issues, and I bought a bunch of stuff from them. I hooked up a card shop from California. They needed to unload like 7 booster boxes, and I found somebody to buy them all. Things like that. So part of my boredom is trying to find stuff for other people. There might actually be people inside the chat right now that I've actually helped out in one way or another with buying some stuff that if I had extra money right now, I might have bought, but I know that people are struggling, especially content creators are struggling a little bit to make sure that they have things. So it's you know.
Yeah, that's that's another thing that's so great about the community is like everybody helps each other out, which is awesome. But yeah, so I know last podcast. I know we didn't do one last week because it was Easter, but I got a bunch of questions on about building decks because I think I think maybe what at least what I've seen is even though you can't go out and physically build like decks and stuff and actually play, I think a lot of people are starting to play the online stuff. I think a lot of people are playing the online stuff because they're bored and like they're actually getting like even people that just used to collect cards are just getting into it. So I think as people are starting to build decks and stuff like that, I've actually got questions that I can't really answer because I don't really get into the weeds about building decks and stuff. But they want to know the difference between like standard, expanded, etc. All these different formats that are played. I know I got a couple questions on when I posted it on the Pokecast on my page about what's the difference? Like, what is the difference? When do cards quote unquote expire? And like, what can you play with now? What is all this format stuff? And I was like, you know what? Let's ask the other Adam because I don't really know.
All right, so here's where that's at. So this is going to roll into what Dave said. So first off, there are banned cards in Pokemon. Most of the cards are banned in expanded format because of old cards that are in expanded. So we'll get into this standard format. As of right now, standard format is all sets from Ultra Prism to present. So everything before Ultra Prism is out of standard. Standard is your regular format, is your obviously standard format. It's what most of your tournaments run. It's what Worlds runs. It's where a lot of your high dollar staple cards come in. So if you're looking at like what cards are in standard, right now it's Ultra Prism to present. Normally rotation happens around August timeframe. So August, September, right around when Worlds hits. And obviously they're not having it this year. So I know that there's a lot of discussions and a lot of things I've been reading. Is Pokemon going to do a rotation this year? And if they don't, how will they work rotation? So will they do 2 years worth of sets will rotate out next year? Because I think a lot of these cards were drawn up with other cards in like the new sets were working with older cards to make some of the older stuff at least viable for this year. So I don't know the answer to that question. I keep reading and looking it up because it's definitely going to change the way that we invest our money, at least because that's where we do most of our buying and selling is in standard format. Expanded is stuff before. Off the top of my head, I can't remember where expanded ends, but there is a rotation for expanded as well. I'm sorry that I forgot to write that down. That's on me. But a lot of people like to play expanded. I think black and white base is the end spot right now for, if I can remember correctly. And I think the discussion this year is XY base going to be the cutoff for expanded? So those are things to look at. And then expanded allows you to use any of those cards within that. But the thing about expanded is there's a huge ban list. Cards like one of the big ones right now is Reset Stamp. Is really bad because you use reset stamps with like Dusknoir and Trevenant, that GX that came in that Halloween box that we had with a couple other cards, and it actually makes it so like you can just rotate out your opponent's hand, and they actually can. You can go through an entire game and they'll never have a card in their hand. It's pretty jacked up. So you allow them to work down to like only having a couple of prize cards, and you just keep resetting out, and they just never have a card, and thus they can't play the game anymore. So there are some broken loops like that. The boss's way, I say that the card is broken, but it's not. It's just going to be, Lieutenant Surge's Strategy is another one of them. It's broken in that it will just be a staple. It's like custom catchers right now that it's pretty much a 4-off in every deck. So it's just little things like that. In terms of it, the ban list isn't like gigantic, but it definitely, like, you have to keep up with it. The nice thing about playing PTCGO is it was unbeatable and boring to play. But you look at I keep forgetting to change this little face thing around. You're looking at his beard instead of me while I'm talking. Um, but if you play PTCGO, which I think a lot of us have been lately, it'll tell you what cards are banned. They'll have like a big X next to it. After you finish your deck, it'll tell you what your deck is can be played in, and what cards can and cannot. And so it'll actually give you the little pop up that says, "Hey, your deck, has banned cards in it, and you can't play it in this format, etc." So little things. But that's the big thing about expanded and standard, is just keeping up with when they do rotation, if they do rotation. Still no official word yet from Pokemon if we're going to have one this year, being that they canceled everything. I would hope that they kept cards in, because it would be I think it'd be a bummer to see some of these cards leave with the newer cards that we have. But I also we don't need 4 years worth of cards in standard. 3 years, yeah, it would be 4 years worth of cards, I guess. So, I mean, it is what it is, but hopefully that answered the difference between standard and expanded. So
I wonder, like, so how like the Zacian was like $80, and then now it's like sold at 20. Like, for those cards in Rebel Clash, will they like
14.
start out that high? Because, like, I don't know. I mean,
so here's the thing with those cards, because I think a lot of people like the I guess the market trend portion of this, right? So some of your biggest staple cards right now, Zacian V was super high, right? And the base card, like not even the full art or the gold, sat at like $35 to $40 for a long time, because it was highly playable. It was by far the best deck that was out there, and it was an ultra rare card, so people needed them, and they needed 4 of them in their decks, and it was just super high. And then it slowly started to trickle, because more and more people were opening packs, and then the market becomes flooded. So in the beginning, there's not very many, and people want to play every tournament that they can with the best deck to increase their points for going to regionals, worlds, etc. And so you're trying to play those better decks. That's why those cards sit higher. And then like Marnie's and Professor's Researches were sitting at like $5-6 for a long time too, because they came new staples. And then as the market floods, it comes down, right? Just as everything, as we have more, they come down. Same thing with Jirachis and Dedenes. Jirachis kind of plateaued right around that $20 mark, and you've seen Dedenne take a huge hit. Part of the reason why a lot of these cards have dropped in price is Pokemon released that they were going to be releasing Zacian V's in tins. When we get back, so Trainer Wolf thinks Zacian will go back up. It may go back up a little bit. I think it's right around $13 or $14 right now. But the big part with the Zacian V is they're releasing it in a tin. So just like we saw Pikachu and Zekrom tank when the tin came out, and we saw the Mew 3 tank when the tin came out, I think the exact same thing is going to happen. Is everybody knows on May 1st, end of May, when that tin comes out, the card's going to continue to tank. I think we'll see it right around $10 for a while, much like what happened to Pikachu and Zekrom and the Mew 3 card. You've also seen Dedenne start to tank, because they did release that they're going to be doing a box collection thing that's going to have, I think, 2 Dedenne GXs in it. And so that's the thing with the Dedenne dropping, is people know that, like, hey, like, we're going to be able to get them in mass instead of trying to get them out of a set that's out of print with Unbroken Bonds. So
that initial spike for all those super playable cards won't necessarily be there. It'll kind of just, like, you know what I mean? Like, just because you can't play, I mean, I'm thinking that, like, if it's a super playable card, like, once you're able to go play, it's already be flooded, so you don't have that initial rush to just want to get it first. I think, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just there's not gonna be that like downward slope. I think it's just gonna be there, because by the time you want to buy it, because you can actually go and play, I think the market's already gonna be flooded.
Yeah, and then to answer Trainer Wolves, I don't think the card's going to be banned. They're going to allow it to play. There's a reason that they want it out there. They want people to play these cards.
Isn't it the same card?
It is the same card.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about banning the card altogether?
no, just banning the promo version of it, like saying like, hey, like you can't use this in standard format tournament. I don't think they would do that.
Right.
Because I don't think they did it with Mew 3. I don't think they did it with the Reshazard one that they released in that figure box, and I don't think they did it with the Pikachu and Zekrom. So I don't see why they would do it with this one.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I mean, like, obviously we're just starting to, like, all the big PokeTubers are, like, just now opening it. So everybody, like, this past week, so everybody's got a chance to kind of to look at it. But, I mean, all those tournaments were to, like, basically what happens is, you know, these guys put these decks together, and then all of a sudden people want to copy these decks. I mean, nobody's like going out and playing and seeing how effective, you know what I mean, like these decks are. So I think that'll probably have an effect too, where, you know, people are just going to open them and just hold on. And I don't think you'll really know like I mean, like, you'll know just because of what the card can do, but like what the trend is as far as the cards that are being played in these decks. I don't think you're going to really know until these guys get out and play and stuff like that. Because I mean, I think when all these guys go out there, they wait and see all these decks that are doing well, and then they want to copy the decks. You know what I mean? Well, if you don't have those people going out there playing, then it's kind of like, you know what I mean? You got people like me that are waiting for these guys to go out there so that I can copy it over, copy paste into the online version, and then try to go about it that way.
Yeah, it's all gonna depend. It's weird. It's a weird time. Once the card shops start opening and they can start doing sanctioned tournaments and stuff like that, like we'll see it. Unfortunately, like with Magic the Gathering, they have like the sanctioned tournament nights and stuff through their online game that Pokemon hasn't done. And I think people are still able to earn league points and stuff through the Magic one. I may be wrong with that, but I know our card shop gets like special codes for being a sanctioned card store that they can hand out to people to actually play like what their normal Friday Night Magic tournaments would be through the shop. So Pokemon hasn't done anything like that, and PSA Becca says, just kind of looking over here.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, we'll see. And it's really going to come. We're going to just have to hold on and wait for the card shops to open. I think there's some cool stuff in the set. We always kind of like circle back to sets and whatnot as we see new stuff being played. So we'll see. I think you'll start to see the Zamazenta V maybe go up in price a little bit because we're going to have more and more VMAXs. And the whole reason to play Zamazenta V was as a VMAX counter. So we might see that become more playable, and it's like super low in price, and it might shoot up a little bit, stuff like that. But we just have to wait, and I can't say to invest in any of this stuff right now in terms of playability because we just don't know what's going to happen. I kind of go on this roller coaster ride of buying Jirachis and Dedenes, and I've kind of held off. I've got a couple of play sets that are for sale. For people that need them, but people just don't want to. It's just not moving unless there's people that are, kind of starting to put things together, waiting for card shops to open, that kind of stuff. But or families that are playing at home. There's like the Weavers. They all play at home and they all have meta decks that they play against each other, and they wanted that stuff so they could actually play the physical paper card game. So I don't know. Don't know.
I think what you're going to see is because people are starting to get stuff. As far as like price wise for cards is like the PSA cards, because you're going to start seeing some people that got their stuff in before all this happened. Basically what PSA is doing is they're working on orders that have already been kind of sitting there. They're not accepting new, and you're going to see like the gold dogs come out and stuff like that. You can see those cards start trickling out, and those, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see we're gonna be behind the set as far as like PSA. So you're gonna start seeing those go up in price because there's not gonna be a lot there in the beginning because there's just gonna be a backlog of grading going on. So you're gonna see those first couple golden dogs hit the market, and they're gonna probably shoot up in price, just like not as high as like a shiny Charizard, but like how that was super high and kind of went down. You're going to see that because all these collectors, they wanted. If you're a collector and you're truly a collector, I mean, there's a lot of these guys that just have to have it, and they have to have it in their collection now instead of just waiting. And all those guys are going to go out there and try to buy up everything that's not been there because of what's going on, and they're going to pay higher prices just so that they can have it in their collection now, and they can be like, you know what I mean? Because it bugs. There's people out there where it bugs them if they have holes in their collection. And so those guys that send all those cards out to be graded, put them up for sale. They're going to sell high. At least that's what I would do. Yeah. And then you can always buy them back when they're cheaper.
Dave just pulled his shiny dog the other day. Yesterday. 2 days ago? Yesterday? I watched the video this morning, so. But does that answer everybody's question about the difference between standard, expanded, kind of like where my head's at in terms of, because that's where most of, I put a lot of our money and our channel openings into standard card play because, we sell cards at the card shop, and we've got a pretty good base, pretty good customer base just online for standard cards, and so that's really where we put it. We did just buy a case of Burning Shadows because we want to go Rainbow Rare Charizard hunting. But in terms of like, that's really where we put most of our funds and our money and stuff like that is into standards. So,
yeah, and I think like right now we've been, I just bought all those Hidden Fates. I think we're gonna like probably go hard and open up some Hidden Fates just because I love the set, and I got a bunch of first run stuff from someone that Adam knows, so I bought a bunch of those up. But yeah, it's just the market's crazy. I've been hesitant to like, usually on eBay, I'll work with people as far as pricing. I've been less hesitant to like, at least people that I have no idea that are just sending me things. I've been less hesitant to like accept offers just because I feel like the market hasn't plateaued yet, and I've just been pricing stuff very like, I guess higher than I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think until this kind of stuff shakes out, I don't want to be caught with selling my stuff at the lower end of when because I still think it's going up for some reason. It's crazy. Like it's been changing. It's been changing week by week instead of like month by month and even like months by months. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy.
Yeah.
And obviously, it wouldn't be an episode if we didn't talk a little bit about Hidden Fates, considering I said I was opening up Hidden Fates. But there's been I don't know if it's rumors or whatever, but a lot of people have been asking about like, is there a third print run of Hidden Fates? And I think you and I talked about it earlier this week that we don't believe that it's a third print run. It's just one of those things where when they did the second print run, they had so much of it, and it's just one of those things where just distributors are finding it and they're just releasing it or redistributing it to their buyers and stuff. And I think that's why you're kind of seeing some more tins hit the market. It's not necessarily that they're reprinting stuff, but when Pokemon does these print runs, they print so many of these things. They can't just do a third print run of and make half the pins they did in the first print run because it's just not cost effective. So I think it's just like a hangover of what they initially did in like December-ish or whenever that was, or December, January, whenever those pins were like $10 at Target. I think you're just seeing. I mean, the same reason that you got those pins, but I got those pins, those ones. They didn't do another print run of those, but they were just, there's a pallet somewhere, and they put them up for sale. And the nice thing about Pokemon Center is they're not going to charge. They're just going to charge the same price they did when they first were initially sold. So I think that's what you're seeing with these guys, especially people that are selling cases of Hidden Fates tins. It's just distributors have come in contact with more cases, so they're just selling them as they're getting those cases in. It's not necessarily a third print run.
Yeah. Also, so while we're talking about Hidden Fates, is there anybody in here right now that is wanting to pre-order? I can make some phone calls and hit some people up if you guys are looking at ordering some. I might be able to get an extra case or two, between like 220 and 250 ish price range in there. So just let me know or send me a message on Instagram. I probably got to let people know by the end of the week. I don't know if I can get it to the Euro side or the Canadian side of the house, but anybody that's in here, um, if you guys are looking for it, but I can't. I'm not going to do individual tins. I'll split cases with somebody or something like that. But you guys know that we're kind of done with it here, except for when Christy wants to open it up. Some around the house here and whatnot, and we've thrown a couple of packs here and there into our Wednesday openings. But I think that the for the new Hidden Fates for the Hidden Fates tins that they're re-releasing. But I agree. We talked about this extensively the other day. Like, I think a lot of it is. Oh goodness, I'm reading chat right now. Sorry.
Yes,
Breakfast with T-poles is what is what Trainer Wolf is asking for. But we also saw Pokemon Center not too long ago, right around the beginning of February. Like, they had so much Ultra Prism. Like, they had booster boxes at 140, which is MSRP. They had tons of Ultra Prism 3-pack blisters. They had tons of the Elite Trainer boxes. So, like, where did those come from? Like, we know that they didn't reprint them because it was just a super limited release. So, like, my guess is, like, that's probably where these came from. It's the same thing. Talking to manager at GameStop over here, when they started getting tons and tons of those Great Balls and Ultra Balls in, he was like, we were just told it was a bunch of stuff that was like sitting around, like at a GameStop warehouse somewhere, or and then maybe the extra influx of it was that they kind of screwed GameStop over with a lot of the Pokemon did with a lot of their pre-orders and whatnot, and so they gave them a lot on the back end. But
yeah, so I saw Trainer Wolf ask about like pricing for vintage packs, and a lot of them, at least for Team Rocket, as the boxes go up in price, obviously the packs go up in price. If you look right now, like for Team Rocket, that box right now is probably around $4,500. I think one just sold. I think one just sold for like 5,000, and then I saw an auction just sell
for a
like
base one or for first edition.
First edition
Okay.
Team Rocket. So, and then I saw one go to auction. It was like 43. So, like if you just look at 45 and you divide that by 36, I mean that's 125. They're not selling them for 125 because you're not making any money there. So most likely those packs are probably up around like 150 now for a first edition unweighed Team Rocket pack. I don't have any right now. I just bought a Gym Heroes one, and I did sell out of those ones. The same thing with Fossil. Even Fossil is probably if you guys haven't watched TNG, he's done a really good kind of analysis on it. But Fossil is like one of those sets out there that there's a lot of Fossil out there, more so than Jungle. I'm talking about like first edition, and then it kind of trickles down to the unlimited one. But there's tons of Fossil out there, more so than Jungle. Jungle, there isn't a lot of Jungle out there, and at least first edition. I do know somebody that has tons of unlimited Jungle boxes. The guy that I kind of get my stuff off of. But when you see the price of the boxes go up, the prices are going to go up. Like for my Fossil box, I'm selling my prices at like based off of what I bought my box for. So I bought my Fossil box for a certain price, right? And I based off what I'm selling my packs for that I bought the box off of, not what the box is going to be in a month. I'm not going to just automatically jack my prices up on my packs because Fossil all of a sudden goes to $5,000 a box. I always base my prices off of what I paid for the box, and like when I crack it, what is the price per pack? You know what I mean? Like I don't crack the box at 3,000 and then just keep raising up the prices of my packs. Once it's gone, and I open up another box and the price of the box has gone up $1,500, then obviously I'm going to start selling them at a higher price. But it's the same thing. Like if you're looking at kind of a general rule of thumb is the Unlimited's going to be roughly around half of what the first edition. So I mean, for his question, which is like Unlimited Team Rocket, it's anywhere between like 60 and 75. I know that's like a huge range difference, but it all depends on the individual and what they bought the packs for. And then, if the packs were bought more recently, they're going to probably cost more. That's probably how you can tell. But I'm sure there's people out there that just will sit on a box and just keep raising it as the prices go. But that's not really what I do. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's the cost of packs they're just rising with boxes. I mean, if you look at the cost of a box right now and divide it by 36, that's the least amount they're going to sell for, and then you add on some there, so you're making some sort of profit. So for Team Rocket, it's probably $150, and then around $70 for the Unlimited. But I don't have any right now, so I don't have anything to like price off of. But if I bought a box, because I was really tempted to join that. I was really tempted to. Because I didn't know where it was going to go, like in the last 10 minutes of the auction, but it actually stayed at 43, which I know it sounds really crazy, but 43 is probably not that bad of a price for Team Rocket. And another thing, which you like when I mentioned Z and G, what you kind of got to look at is you got to look at like what does the box have to offer as far as the cards you pull and their value when you pull them. And if you look at something like Fossil. A lot of Fossil's cards, like they don't have a bunch of PSA 10s that are above like $1,000 or high. I mean, like if you look at Jungle, there's tons of hits in there that are really expensive in PSA 10. So he did a great analysis of like valuing boxes based on what you can pull and based on like the population of those cards and what they are in PSA 10 and PSA 9 and stuff like that. But I think a lot of that has to do with, a value of a box. What can you pull? Like, I guess the one anomaly is base set, right? Because like the only card that's truly expensive in a PSA 10 and base set is the Charizard, and all the rest of them you can get them relatively cheap as we speak in a PSA 10. I don't know how many they're out there because, like I said, like it's kind of hard to find PSA 10 cards out there. I guess they're just not as readily available as they were maybe a month ago. But like base set will always just be expensive just because it's base set, regardless of whether the cards are worth a lot in PSA 10 or not. But I think that's kind of where you kind of where people like kind of set their pack prices. I don't know, and to be honest with you, I do a lot of research when pricing how much packs are worth. Some people maybe they just don't. Maybe they just like throw some at the wall and be like, "Look, I'll sell them for $150." But I kind of like to research a little bit.
T-Dubs, does that answer your question? He was trying to answer you.
Super long-winded. So $70 for Unlimited, $150 for first edition. If you want the Cliff Notes.
We kind of got through our topics for this time. So if anybody's got questions, we'll.
I think I know LSG's not here, but I know that they wanted to kind of talk about like PSA grading and like is a 10 really a 10? I know we kind of wanted to talk into kind of a little bit of that, and a lot of people will try to devalue a like 2 million or 20 million cert PSA 10 opposed to like a 40. Like now, I think the magic number now is like a 44 million cert. Like everything's tougher now. So if you're gonna get a PSA 10 and a 44 million cert, then all of a sudden that's worth more than another PSA 10, which to me is not true. A 10 is a 10 for me. I understand that maybe they didn't grade as hard, and maybe
Be right back.
the people that are grading those cards obviously have more experience with Pokemon and stuff. But to me, the price difference on a 20 million cert PSA 10 and a 44 million PSA 10, especially in the old vintage stuff, the price, you're not going to see a difference. People are going to want a 10 regardless of what the cert is. That's just the way it is. Because if you think that if you devalue a 10 because it's a lower cert, you're just it's just personal preference for you. There's always going to be another person that doesn't feel that way, and it's just gonna eat it up, because the people that are grading these cards, they're not making tons and tons of money. So it's which brings me to another kind of thing is there's a reason why there's a bunch of 9s and less 10s, is because a lot of people crack open 9s and they want to resend them in to try to get those 10s. So when you look at population reports for PSA 9s, those are always going to be inaccurate, because technically, I think what you're supposed to do is if you crack and want to regrade, you're supposed to send back the label so that they know they can pull from the pop report, but that never gets done. Oh, look at that.
I did it for MD. I said he can do his virtual scream now. So those are the ones I won in that auction, that Raz.
Yeah, but if you look at, especially with Charizards, if you look at, or any really of the big hitters that are in certain sets, whether it's Jungle, Challenge, whatever, you'll see a ton of 9s compared to the 10s, and that's just people cracking open 9s, trying to read. I mean, they'll do it multiple times, because the difference between a PSA 9 and a PSA 10, as far as value-wise, is usually huge. So it's worth them to spend the $15-$20 multiple times to see if they get, Joe Schmo that really doesn't give a crap about his grading, does overlook some stuff. I know there's quality checks and stuff like that, but I mean, there's human error just like in anything, and there's human opinion. So you may send it in to crack it 10 times, and 9 people think it was a 9, and you just happen to get that one time someone thinks it's a 10, and they graded a 10. I mean, you got to realize too, there's a lot of people cracking old certs and trying to get a 10 after they buy it, and buy a 9 old cert and then try to get it to be a 10. So if it grades a 10 at a new cert, what made the difference? You know what I mean? There's just not a difference. It's all you're just paying. You're paying for the grade, which is a PSA 10, regardless of what. So you're not paying for the cert number. You're paying for the PSA grade. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? You're not paying for the cert number. For every person that cares about the cert number, there's another person that doesn't care about the cert number.
Zensi's got a base set PSA 8 Zard that looks flawless. Yeah, there's just all sorts of weird things. If there's a little scratch in the hollow that maybe you're not seeing that somebody else sees, there's all sorts of just weird stuff.
I mean, a left-handed person grading compared to a right-handed person grading could throw off the way they look at it in the light. You can miss print lines. I mean, there's so much personal I don't know, everybody's different in the way they grade stuff. So, I mean, he could crack that. If he thinks it's flawless, he could crack it and come back in 9. I mean,
it could, but then you also look at Z and G's thing where he cracked open a bunch of stuff and they all downgraded one. So, if you crack your 8 because you think your 8's good, what's to say the next person that grades it's a 7, and now you're in this perpetual motion. And the thing about grading a Zard is you go off of the raw value of the card, and you're probably over $100, right? So you can't send a Zard in a bulk submission. So, is it worth the probably $30? If you're going through somebody else, is it worth the $30 to send it back in for it to go down? I don't know, and that's why I try not to devalue it the best that I can. But I love collecting nines. So he said he'd quit collecting if it came back a 7. But a lot of people are cracking like old 9s, trying to get new 10s, and they're coming back as like 8s. Z&G did his whole thing where he sent old 10s in and they came back 9s. So,
I mean, if you look at Gary from Pawn Stars, all his PSA 10 Charizards, they are all like, he has a bunch of them. The 10 millions and the 20 millions. Like, he doesn't have like, maybe he has a 30 million, but I don't. He doesn't have any 44. I mean, like, it's harder and harder. So, and WotC was just known to not produce a like flawless card. So it is so hard to get a flawless WotC card that it's not worth. I believe I don't think it's worth cracking and trying over and over and over and over again. I mean, you would drive yourself nuts. There's so much things that can happen by like you can damage it by cracking it. You can lose it in the mail if you're doing it multiple times. I mean, like
PSA accidentally bends your card when they put it in the case.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, because even if it's just so many things that can happen. Like I've seen like a card be a PSA 10, and because it was a PSA 10, but when they cased it, there's very small room for error when they put it down and they seal it. Like they sealed it, but the top of the card was sealed with what like one of the edge protectors. I don't even know if that's the word for it. And like I got caught. So normally you can, if you shake a holder, you can kind of hear your card kind of shake back and forth, but they got caught. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong when the whole thing about getting something graded is one, trying to get a good grade, right? And the other one is kind of like protecting it forever so that you don't have to worry about stuff getting bent and damaged. And anytime you kind of crack open that stuff, it's just all that kind of bad things can happen to it. So,
hey, are you going to open that mail that I sent you on camera today?
To me?
Yeah, that single envelope.
No, I haven't.
So while he's looking for it, I'm going to give you my. So I'm going to answer some of these questions. So Dave, first off, Dave, first thing is there is a serial number. It's that here. I have one sitting right here. So serial number is that focus is that number right there, that 44 million cert number. So if you crack it open and you don't send that cert label at the top in, they don't know that you cracked it from something else, and it'll stay in the population value until you send it in. Like you can't just tell them that you cracked it. Like that's got to go in, and they have to QR code scan it out of the system. So
if you just go on PSA's website and you look at the population of 9 Charizards just from base set unlimited, if you look at the pop from base set Charizard, the 9s, there's like 4,400 9s, and there's like I want to say like let's just say I don't want to quote it because I can't remember exactly. Let's just say like 400 10s. How do you really think there is no way that there's 4,400 9s out there? What those are people regrading and regrading and regrading. So it's so far. Like if you look at all the other 9 from all the other cards, the other hollows in there, it's not even close. Like the rest of the 9s in the set don't even add up to the Charizard 9 because so many people crack those open and want to try to regrade a Charizard. The most misleading thing on PSA website is PSA 9s of any card, any set that of any WotC news. The PSA 9s, those pop reports. PSA 10s, they're accurate. PSA 9s are the most inaccurate grade on PSA's website because those are the ones that people are recracking trying to get 10s. It happens all the time. But for mail, it is, guys.
He didn't have one, and
I didn't have one.
I lost a pack battle, and so Instead of sending him a Gyarados, I sent him a base set Charizard.
That is so awesome.
I told him we had to open it
I
on
can't
here.
believe I never had one of these.
Oh, hold on. Put it back up there. I had you on little face. Put it back up there. There we go. Now you got it. There it is.
Look at that.
So
yeah, I will be getting that graded.
my next culprit is Dave. At one of these points, I'm going to find another one, and Dave's going to get one. It's just randomly going to show up in the mail one day. He already knows it, but so I can talk about it. But it's going to happen.
Always grade a Charizard. Always grade a Charizard.
T-dubs, that one's like a 6. 5, maybe.
Yeah, it's
the back's kind of jacked.
Yeah, but it's probably a.
It's got that small crease in the back.
Yeah, so it's probably like a 5. But you always grade Charizards.
But
I think we were talking off camera. There's people out there that want to collect Charizard.
1 through 10
grade.
Yeah,
and they want to collect half grades, which they really don't do anymore. So someone's gonna want a 1, a 2, a 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. They want that. So it's always graded Charizard.
So I found it. He didn't have one, and I had to buy it. So I just want to see Dave's reaction because his reactions are classic. He doesn't. I haven't seen him cry like I did the other night because you got me good, but I almost had to walk out of the room. But so that's just.
He's gonna freak out as Bryce. Bryce is gonna freak out.
Oh, he doesn't know about that yet?
No.
Oh.
I didn't talk about that.
That's awesome.
He's gonna claim he won.
I don't have any. I'm trying to see. You sent me something. I'll show him what you sent me. He sent me this. First edition base Dark Hypno.
I always just send him stuff in the mail because it's always fun to get something in the mail, especially when you're sitting around being bored. I think I got staggered a few stuff this week where I think you should be getting something like every day this week.
It'll be cool. I just want the jungle packs to. I can't wait for the jungle box to show up. Hey, it's gotta be so cool.
Yeah, that's I think that's Monday or Tuesday, and then you got these coming. You got one of these guys coming, one of each.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Who else? I think I just. Oh yeah. Epic bought one too.
Sudon, you don't get mail? Send me your address on Instagram, and I'll send you something.
Who doesn't get mail?
Sudon said he doesn't get mail. We got to get Sudon some mail.
But I don't know. How do you deliver to a car?
He's got an apartment, I think. He lives with roommates. At least that's what he said in the past. What else has anybody got today? In those of you that are new, I know that some of you kind of pop in and MD. We talked about it a little bit last week, but we do spend a lot of time. We take the questions from week to week. We look stuff up. This week I did miss one item. But we talk quite a bit. Sometimes Christy thinks that like we're dating, and so Trainer Wolf wants to see some packs open. Maybe I might crack a Flashfire pack.
Here, I got a pack. He wants a pack. Look, one. I got these in a trade from.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, this is a Neo Genesis Japanese pack. So it's right here. I'll open up this for you guys.
But while he's opening that, we do talk a lot. We're trying to make this Pokecast podcast thing as cool as we can. And Wade Brigade's got a good question. I'm going to answer that one now that I've answered mine. Let's see here. Wade Brigade, what sets do you guys see making surprising increase in pricing? So big pricing increases, more and more the black and white sets are exploding.
Absolutely.
It's a little ridiculous. I'm holding on to them. I'm not selling them, so I'm going to tell you what I bought them at. But I bought 2 Plasma Blast boxes in an Emerging Powers box for a total of $900. And those boxes are $650 to $700 a pop right now on eBay. I'm holding on to those. So anything that you can find black and white is skyrocketing. You're starting to see a lot of the XY stuff starting to go up exponentially. Base set, Phantom Forces, Furious Fists, Flashfire continually to skyrocket.
Heart gold. I don't know where it is in the spectrum of vintage, but heart gold, soul silver, skyrocketing.
HGSS is definitely going up. Like, I can't even find base set packs, and I want them because I want one of each of the energies because I think they're absolutely gorgeous. What else? Burning Shadows, you're going to start to see go up big time. Once tournament play goes, team up is almost impossible to find. I think box prices, you're going to be lucky to find them under $150 a piece here soon. Same thing with Unbroken. With all the playability, you'll see it go way up. B-Shads, a lot of the distributors are running low on it. There was an influx in the market there for a little bit on B-Shads, so I think that's going to continue to go up. But it's, I think right now those are the big ones. I mean, I don't think is finally sold out. B-Shads is finally sold out at Pokemon Center. I know that the distributors last week got a huge influx of them because that's how I got my case. But
did you say Diamond and Pearl?
Well, Diamond Plural, yeah. The plasma sets, that's what I meant by black. Anything with black and white. Plasma Storm, Freeze, Plasma Blast, all that stuff will go back down after the... I don't think UB and Team Up will go back down after the pandemic. Like, if you talk to all the distributors don't have them at all. Trust me, man, I've made every phone call that I possibly can to buy Unbroken and Team Up. More so Team Up because we still need to pull Christy. Christy wants to pull her card. Arlo right now because the store is being closed. They're not though. Like, we have access through some distribution companies through our local card shop, and I ask weekly, and the distributors don't even have them. So that's part of the problem.
Those the team up building battle kits, are those like super? Like, I saw, maybe they're the pre-release ones, but I saw someone raffle those guys off. They were team up. They were just like a building battle things, and those went crazy high.
You want to know why?
I'm sure there's a card in it.
Yeah, and I'm going to show it to you.
But I just saw that yesterday. I think there were like 4 of them. They were like crazy high.
This is the reason why, because there's a stamped Charizard in the set.
And I think that card's like $1,000-some, man.
So that's the reason why those are high. It's because there's a stamped Charizard.
You gonna get that graded?
I will. I've got 2 of them still in the case like that. So.
All right, guys, here we go. I don't know. Can you see? Can you put me on the... I have no idea what the heck these cards are either because I can't read. I sleeved up the... Let's see what this guy is. Giraffe Rig or whatever his name is.
But I'll continue to... Yeah, Wade, it's all going to be... I don't know. We might see him go down a little bit, but talking to the different card shops and stuff and the people that I know that can still order through distributors, like, it's just not happening. It's tough to get them. There was an influx right before the pandemic happened, like back in January. We bought a case of Unbroken and we bought a case of Team Up at cost, and that was super awesome. But like, since then, you can't find it anywhere. It's impossible.
Yeah, maybe
you got to come to the other side, or I have to shift here.
Yeah. There we go.
There you go. Now you're better.
All right, God, guys, my bad. I'm like, all right, ready for the hollow because they're hollow in every pack. I didn't look. What is it? Ooh.
Oh, it's the big one. It's the biggest card in the set. That's awesome. Yeah. Zen's like, you got to be kidding me.
Zen.
Zen's like, I gave away the biggest card in the set. That's awesome. I'm waiting for Zen right now. It just went up on the live, so.
Oh, did it? All right, let me see. I'm going to see.
Yeah, Wade, I get you. There are some of them that are closed, but if you call them up, they can still they'll still answer the phone and they'll give you the update. So at least most of the major ones. There might be some at some of the other ones, but even just like looking at the updates. But I'll continue to ask, and next week I'll let you know if I find anything else out. But at least there's at least like one person working in each of those, at least the bigger ones that people use to go through. And I'm not talking like online. I'm talking like the people that distro to all the small card shops and stuff like that. So if you're looking for something, Wade's, let me know, and I'll try and get you a better answer. But I can tell you that I've talked to multiple people in looking up what their stock numbers and stuff are, and it's most of the time Unbroken and Team Up doesn't show up on their stock records because it's like one of those "hey, call us first" type things. But I can't find it, and I'm trying hard. Do you ever buy at wholesalers? I do. MD, that's usually where I buy most of my stuff. Well, I buy through the card shop or buy through a card shop through a wholesaler, that kind of stuff. But that's how we get ours most of the time. Yeah. Yeah, the main thing I need in Team Up.
The quality is pretty good. It has a slight little line in it. But guys, so I'm gonna what is it? Today's Sunday. So like Monday or Tuesday, when I post this on my channel, all you got to do is hashtag Lugia, and then I'll do a random generator. I'll give it away.
Hey,
all
Wade.
You gotta do.
Yeah, Wade.
Sure you, what's that?
What were you gonna do with the Lugia? I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm reading.
When it's posted on mine, go to my channel, and in the comments, just hashtag Lugia, and I'll give it away. I'll do a random generator next week. So next Sunday we'll do another podcast.
That's crazy.
And we'll do a random generator live, and we'll pick a winner.
Okay. Yeah, wait. I know we don't converse as much as I do with other people. Hit me up on Instagram, and we'll work it out. I'll get you one for sure. That shouldn't be too big of a problem. I might actually have one here, to tell you the truth. So it might be behind the other ones here. But if not, like, I'll get one for you if you want the ETV, because I can do that for sure. I know I can at least get it at retail, hopefully less. If there's anything anybody's looking for, I know that there's a couple people that are in here. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Like, my heart breaks when we get when people open stuff that they didn't think was fake. If there's stuff that you guys are looking for, like, let us know. I know LSG is really good about it too. He's kind of down and out doing some business transaction stuff right now, so he hasn't been making a whole lot of content, but he is alive and he is well. He's another person to reach out to. But like, if you're looking for vintage stuff, especially, hit up GWT. If you're looking for some of the newer stuff, like, let me know and I'll work it out. Like, there's enough people that we can ask and whatnot. So, and if it's for content creators and stuff, like, I think if anybody knows this, Dave knows it. Like, I don't try and make $1 on anybody when it comes to content creators. Like, I'll just order it and I'll send it to you. Just pay for the shipping and whatever the cost of the item is. I'll usually send you the receipt and we'll go from there. So if it's that kind of stuff, because I know that, like, we all have to band together. Like, there's no reason that one of us should buy stuff at super cheap and kind of run the other people out, because it's just dumb. I like watching your guys' videos as much as I like making my own, and I don't really watch TV anymore.
Yeah, like I just bought all my boxes from Adam. Like, I won't buy any modern stuff. Like, I won't go to the store. Like, I don't even know where the hell I got it before. I can't even remember. But anyway, I won't buy. Like, he always hits me up. I'm not gonna. I mean, I'll go to him. I'll go to him to buy. Like, I didn't go heavy into Rebel Clash just because it didn't have a Charizard, and that's kind of why it kind of drives me to, like, collect a set or whatever. But I still want the Berserker and all those cards. But I just went to Adam. Adam hit me up. Was like, dude, I can get cases, whatever. I was like, I'll take 2, 3, whatever. I can't remember how many I got, but like, I won't go. Yeah, 2. So I won't go anywhere else. There's, like, Adam has different avenues to get stuff. So especially with all the craziness stuff out there, just go with someone you know, like, vintage wise. If you're really looking for something vintage and I don't have it, I'll make sure I'll find it for you from somebody that's reliable, that I trust, that I would back up with my word. So there's enough people out there.
Zen, I will get you one. It will not be before the release, but I will get one on release date and send it to you. Does that work for you? he wants a build and battle box from the new Rebel Clash. So,
so how much do those team up boxes go for, the build and battle ones? Then how much do you think those things are? Is everyone guaranteed that Charizard, or is it one of those things where it's like a 1 in 4?
1 in 4. It's well, this is the other reason why they're expensive, because there's a 1 in 4 chance that Jirachi, the Zapdos that's in that set is super playable, and that's one of the promos. And then the Nidoqueen, which is also super playable in some of those Charizard decks, is in that set as well. So it was 4 highly playable cards that are still highly playable in standard, and that's what we do.
I feel like TCA Gaming just had one. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the price of that what that Charizard is. It's like ridiculous.
MD, I usually sell booster boxes between $90 and $100, which is probably going to make you scream again, depending on what it is.
What is that thing? Hold that Charizard up again. What is the thing on the lower? What does it say? Team up.
It's SM158.
Oh, SM158. Do a little live look up here.
So.
Yes, it's like, I don't know. One's up for. Oh, that's the staff one though.
Yeah, there was a staff one.
Jeez.
That was
Holy
the big
cow.
one.
The staff one's like $1,000.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like probably 150. That's usually like how, like 150. Dang, that's still 150. I'm gonna have to buy some.
Well, you don't get the stat, like, oh, you're talking about the PSA ones?
I was talking about the kits.
Yeah, the kits are tough. I've bought probably 20 of them.
How much do you think they are worth now?
15. What? The kits?
The build and battle.
I would think like $30 wouldn't be a bad. I think the staff one is what TCA had, and the staff ones were for like people running tournaments and stuff like that. It was like what they gave them when team. I think it was like one of the world's things that were the regionals right around when Team Up came out.
Yeah.
So, because even with the shipping, it's a good deal to get them from Adam. Yeah, I don't know what the shipping would be for a booster box overseas. We can look into it if it's way less than what you normally get them from. On-air purchases. Yeah, we're not trying to like push it. Hey, speaking of on-air purchases, I've got to do this because I absolutely love these people so much. I think Tim is still in here. I think he's listening to it in the background. But I got to put a plug out there because they gave me this yesterday out of nowhere, and I didn't know that they did this kind of stuff. But I'm going to put this up here. So this is his wife's vinyl boutique. I think you can find her on Etsy and Instagram. And they made me this. They took an Ozark tumbler and then they customized it. And so they gave us this. I drove up to the house yesterday, and they gave me this. I think it's awesome. So if you guys
turn around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Zen's gonna be like, oh man, I need to get one of these. So if you guys want these, I will, or if you guys want them made, I can get with them. Because I can probably text Tim right now and be like, hey, like everybody wants the mugs, so let me know.
Ooh, man, to get a golden war turtle one.
Shoot
over my logo. Shoot over my logo.
Yeah, see, I knew it. Zen saw the Blastoise and was like, I need one. But if you guys want those,
especially because Zen is bored and buying stuff now. Because every time I post something in our Twitter chat, he's like, oh, I gotta buy that now. We're just feeding into his addiction.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I'm going to sell my truck. But I mean, that's really what we've got going on. It's we're trying to have fun with it. We're trying to give you guys fun. If you guys have any questions that we don't get to this time, if you want to throw some out there, hit us up on Instagram, either one of us. Write it in the comments of the video below. I'm trying to think of anything. Let's see here. I was thinking of a good idea with mystery boxes where you have Dave do custom artwork on ETBs and to use as the mystery box, do a series of 10 limited edition. That would be a boom. Okay, I like that. I can send Dave a bunch of those because I've got a ton of them laying around, and then we just fill them for mystery boxes. Um, and then what else do? Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk with Dave about that one. Maybe I've got some ideas with that. Maybe Dave and I can get together. We worked very closely with Lootbox last year for their
Hospital.
for the hospital charity. Maybe we do that around the holiday season for the charity, and we auction them off, or we do it as a raffle. That would be really cool. And Adam and I can get together and put some stuff in there and create charity mystery boxes for people that that donate, like for tickets and stuff. But yeah, Wade's. I think you got my head working in a way to do something like that where we can all get together and do something better. So I think you gave me the idea, and I'm gonna give you full credit through this. But I think we're gonna get together with Dave and do that. So I know Dave would be. I can send him the Elite Trainer boxes, and we can throw stuff together because I think that would be amazing, and I think we could raise a halfway decent amount of money for whatever the charity is for this year.
Hey, Dave. So we opened up some of Dave's artwork cards, and Bryce has them like double sleeve in his binder in the back. Like if you know anything about Bryce, all his good cards are in the back because he says if anybody's gonna steal any of my cards, they're gonna flip through and steal all the ones from the beginning, and they're not gonna look in the back. So all his good cards are in the back of the binder. That's where he puts all the like signature cards. So all of Dave's signed. Those things are ridiculous.
I got so many of these things. I love them. Like they never get old.
I know they're so awesome. But that's an awesome idea. It's crazy because there's a like I love all the custom artwork stuff. I think from Gyarados Freak I got some Shadow Box cards.
Yeah,
all that stuff's awesome. It's all unique. It's all one of a kind.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
I
think Juice had reached out to me discussing that we needed to get together a little bit earlier this year, maybe discuss ways forward to make this year bigger because of everything that's been going on, and people have been a little bit more down that we need to up it this year. So maybe we do something like that to help make it a little bit bigger. I have a group of Pikachu from Christmas, and Haley adores them. Yeah, they're awesome. But things moving forward, I know we talked about PSA. Once they open up, like full on again, I think those of you that were in our Wednesday night video 2 weeks ago, I talked to you guys about it, that we might be setting up a monthly Patreon for like $15, and then within that, like you got one graded bolt card a month, and then the rest of your money went to picking a pack each week, and we'd start throwing prizes in the Wednesdays. Which I mean, the 15, depending on who you go with for bulk PSA grading, is about average. I think 13 is normal. So I mean, I guess you gamble $2 a month, but it depends on where you live because the shipping could go over that. For those of you that like don't have tons and tons of cards you want to send out, but you want to send like a one-off here and there, or kind of save it up over time and then just use them, we can do that. But that's one of the things that we kind of have in the works. Make the Wednesdays a little bit more entertaining, and put a little bit of heat behind it. But I can't just like ask people to give me a one of, hey, give me one pack, and we'll do everybody's in the beginning and then go from there. So that's what we've got working. And then, I mean, that's where we're headed channel wise right now. Still 3 videos a week, PTCGO most nights, and going from there. But we're real close to 5 hundo, and Christy wants to do a big giveaway for 5 hundo, and then We've got the at 600 is supposed to. If we get to 600 by June 17th, I'm doing the music video.
I wouldn't mind seeing Old Man Ash again.
It's gonna happen in that. It's gonna happen in that video again.
Old Man Ash.
Yeah, she wants to. So she wants to cut my hair all the way around and then cut a hole through the middle, and so it looks like a crown. But she wants me to try and grow it out, and so she can like put it in like little rubber bands, so it looks like the points on a crown as I'm riding around on sprinkles.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I don't know. I like this. This is just my personal opinion. The Wednesday night videos, those are great. Like there's so much randomness to it. It's just
only gonna get better.
I know. Like I think it was did you think it was easier when you had like a Christie box and an Adam box?
This past week was a lot easier because the week before when we did the mystery, she had them all. And she was trying to grab as we were trying to open, and then we lost track of chat. And I was getting annoyed because I wanted to converse with everybody in chat, and we were trying to keep up and make sure that everybody's packs got open because we feel really bad if we miss somebody. And then some people kept spamming the same thing, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I can't keep up. So like this week, and I think there was a couple times where we jumped in and we were like, hey, hold off a second. Like let us open these and then we'll get back into it because we still want to interact with people in chat, and I think we're getting better with interacting with people during the Pokecast too. At least like one of us will as the other person's talking, etc. I just need to get better at changing these things as to who's talking, the windows. That I'm gonna get it one of these days. I wish it did it automatically to who is talking, but I don't think that I can do that. But yeah, it is a ton of fun. If you guys haven't seen them, our Wednesday this week's gonna be on Thursday. Because Christy has her final Thursday morning, and after that we'll do it. So it won't be Wednesday this week; it'll be Thursday, but it'll be Mayhem, and there may be a Rebel Clash opening at the beginning of the video if I get my package in time. So that is the plan for this week, and then there might be some other goodies thrown in. We got some other just rando booster boxes just to throw in, just to kind of make it interesting. Guardians Rising, some Crimson Invasion, Roaring Skies, and Sun and Moon Base. So it's just like weird stuff that like you don't see open that much. So it's just like, oh my goodness, like what's gonna happen? Oh, Pogo Dad's here. What's going on?
Hey, Pogo, how those theme decks looking? I know he messaged me and said his are nice. He got a couple off of me.
He got what him? The theme decks.
Too. Yeah.
So, what do you got going on coming up for the channel wise? We're kind of out of our talking points, so I just wanted to end this with what we had going on.
Yeah. So I am. I think Bryce wants to do Hidden Fates. I think he wants to go live, so I'm trying to get the schedule. He wants to do a live opening. He loved doing the live when we did it like the one time before. Mm-hmm. I love all the live stuff. I actually like the lives almost more so than, you know what I mean? Like it's so much fun interacting, and like just like when you go live every night, I try to like just stop in and troll you at least like 2 or 3 times.
Hey, I just bought this. Jerk.
But yeah, just the same old stuff. I've been getting a lot of stuff in, and a lot of people like my purchase and sales just because it's you get to see a bunch of stuff that you normally don't see, like vintage wise, like a bunch of blisters and stuff. So I've been trying to hold on to a bunch of them and just kind of show you guys all at once. Obviously, when I get my Gym Heroes in, show you guys that. I got a bunch of blisters that I won. Like I said, I bought a bunch of stuff off of one of my buddies because he's trying to buy a house. So I got a bunch of cool stuff to see. To show you guys then. I'm trying to get the 300 so I can give you guys give away a bunch of vintage packs. So I'm trying to do that. It's just hard working from home with and educating the kids to like sit down and like do a video, and because a lot of times to get a lot of subs, you always pick some up by putting out videos. So I'm trying to put out more videos just so to get more subs so that I can give stuff away, because a lot of the way I like to interact with the community is just like I like to give away. I like people, doing mystery boxes and people opening my stuff and like seeing their reaction and stuff. That's why like I always watch videos, and a couple people said that, hey, we're not putting out videos just because of what's going on. I can't get to the store, blah 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 blah. And I comment on them, hey, just hit me up if you need some stuff. I'll send you some stuff. No, no problem. Like I said, it's like Adam. I'm here to help out, and kind of spread the love where I can. Yeah, but I've been sending out a lot of mystery boxes. So my wife is like, dude, the dining room table is like, can you like, you have stuff stacked up, and because like when people buy stuff, I try to pack it up as soon as possible because I don't want to mix up everything, and I keep a spreadsheet in my computer with everything that I've sold and stuff. So it's just I've been selling so much stuff so it's just since the Corona. So I've been honestly keeping up with that, trying to limit the amount of time I go to the post office, but I want to make sure everybody has all their stuff on time. So just packing up stuff and buying stuff and selling stuff. That's a lot of what I've been doing recently. And but yeah, Bryce, I did buy a bunch of ball collections through Adam, through someone he knew. So I am actually planning on, because I have a bunch of ball collections, so I'm planning on actually opening those and opening 30 packs in I don't know if I'll split it 15 and 15, but I'm going to open up because I got to pull a shiny star. I have it in PSN, but I got to pull it, and I think I'm 5 cards away from the complete set, so I want to complete that. And then I have a bunch of boxes back here too. I have Sword and Shield boxes, and I have Evolutions boxes. So there's stuff I can do. I just got to sit down with Bryce, and it's funny. I found more time like with him swimming than I do now when we're sitting at home doing.
Do you have balls at the house, right? Like the Pokeballs, not like the other. Yeah. You have the Pokeballs. You have some of the Pokeball collections there, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch of those. Yep.
So I know that we are a Pokecast, and we don't really open stuff, is what we talked about. But I think we should snag the kids at the beginning of next week's and open one up to start it, and then go from there. Yeah, this just got weird.
What's that?
So when you were talking, I noticed that the little window was up there, and it was. I finally noticed it, and I was like, "Oh man, that's bothering me." And then I started moving stuff around because then I moved my picture over to the opposite side, and then it was like, then it said like you were recording, and then the you recording thing was bothering me, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't do this," and I had to switch it all up. And what's going on, Epic? And so it was driving me nuts. And then but I think next week it'd be kind of funny to bring the kids in. Christy might join me because she likes Hidden Faith so much, but I think it'd be really cool to do that.
You know what? Like the funny thing is like Portia has no idea about Pokemon, right? Just
Christy,
no idea. So
Christy didn't either. Christy didn't either.
I know. So okay, because so like Portia's like Christy like 8 months ago or whatever. So the plan is we got to get her in here opening stuff and just like trying to pronounce the names and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Bryce has been wanting to get her in a video like forever just to be like, here, Mom, what is this card? And try to pronounce it. So that's still in the works too. So like trying to get a Mrs. War Turtle video like up. That's one of the things to do in the next 2 weeks.
But yeah, we'll do next week.
What else we got here? Zen just needs to get out more. I think Zen's just he's having cabin fever, and what's weird to him is just normal, man. It's just normal right now.
I think Zen is an awesome person.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked those cards this week, by the way. I had won those in a Raz, or not a Raz, but in a pull game. It was like a prize, and I was like, I don't know what to do with these things. And then when you won the what's it called? You won the giveaway for the slab from the live feed, and I was like, "Oh man, I know where these need to go." Because it was between you and Adam, and then when you won the slab, I was like, "Oh man, I gotta send these to him." Like, but yeah, it seems like everybody's significant other in one way or another. Because yeah, Dave just said Amanda from TCG Funhouse, she wasn't into it. Christy thought the whole channel was kind of dumb in the beginning, and she was just like, well, I don't know. And then I got her to do one video with me, and she saw the art, and she thought it was cool, and then she pulled the Rainbow Rare Blastoise out of Unbroken Bonds in our first video, and that was like the one card that I wanted. And then she was like, "Oh man, this is really cool." And then she made a video here and there with me. And then it became, and then when Hidden Fates came out, it was over with. Like, she was just like, "Oh my God, like all the cards are so pretty. Like, we've got to open as much of this as we can." And she would call me like every day as she'd walk in somewhere. She'd be like, "Oh my God, I found more." I said, "No, no more." So it'll happen.
No, but I like with Pogo Dad, I did the same thing. I try to go everywhere and just buy up the ball collections everywhere. I remember you telling me you found a bunch of them and like.
I just wrote it in chat. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
I was up in the Boston area. 26 Pokeball collections. I didn't buy a single one.
Yeah. Could you have taken them all home though? You just like just leave all clothes. Like you come back. Just get rid of all your clothes and trash them.
Because my room on I have my own room on the ship, and so like I had already bought all the boxes that are up top above me. Yeah. Like I had bought all those there, and I still had room, and I've got a huge like cabinet space underneath my bed as well, and I could have stuffed it all. Like I definitely could have gotten it all. Don't worry, like I can find space, but it wasn't a matter of space. It was just a matter of I didn't want to spend the money because I was sitting on a ton of tins that I was trying to offload at the same time too, I think. And it was just a matter of money. Like I just didn't want to invest any more into Hidden Fates at the time. So
yeah, I have two. I have like I think they're the 9. They're the 2 tins, the boxes, the cases of 9.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the 12. I have the 2 cases of 9, so it's 3 of each.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of those, and then I got a bunch of those ball collections, and I just bought 3 more. And the ones that I bought, I had the intention of opening all those, so we'll crack all those. Like it's funny because like in all my kids' rooms, there's literally master balls and ultra balls all over the place because I can't throw them away because I can't like it's just wasteful. So like they're all over the place. There's these little, and then like I'll go downstairs and the kids like have like one of those little basketball hoops. They're just like shooting. They're just shooting the master balls and ultra balls. There's so many of them. But remember, guys, next week. We'll open that, but we're giving this away. If you guys weren't here earlier, I opened up a pack of Japanese Neo Genesis, and I pulled the Lugia. So I can never tell where I need to put it.
Right there. You're good. Right there.
Right. I'm giving this away. So you have to go into my channel when I post this on Monday or Tuesday. Go in there and just hashtag Lugia in the comments, and either Adam or I will do like a random generator and we'll give it away live next week. So I'm not sure. Zen will probably know like the value of the Japanese stuff, but I mean it's that and Typhlosion are the 2 hits at it, even the Japanese side. So pretty cool to pull it on the channel.
But I think does anybody have any last minute questions? I just want to write anything down that anybody has. Just to kind of follow over for next week. If not, hit us up on Instagram. I know Wade, I told you to hit me up for that Team Up ETB. And then, yeah, if you've got any last minute questions, we'll do it. If not, we will, we'll take your questions over the week and we'll come up with our own topics because I'm sure something craziness in Pokemon will happen over the next week and then it'll kind of drive the conversation for a little bit. But I want to thank everybody for coming out yet again. I think there's 12 of you that are watching right now. This has been absolutely awesome. And, you know, we appreciate everybody's support. When, you know, this started as us just Skyping together and then it went to like, oh, we should just share it with everyone. So I think it's awesome. I'm having tons of fun with it. It gives me something to look forward to. And
Zen just said 1 sold for 200, so
that's crazy. So
woo!
That's big time right there. That's awesome.
Right there.
I'm gonna
giving it away.
I'm gonna blast this everywhere now.
Blast it. They were giving it away. That was a pretty good pool, man. Holy cow.
Danny wants to know what your most valuable card is.
Go ahead.
I don't know. It depends. My most expensive raw card is one of the 3 shiny Charizards because I don't have a lot of the older stuff. But graded wise, if that Shining Gyarados from Neo Rev gets graded a 9 or a 10, that would probably be my most expensive card.
So my most expensive card, I had the first edition PSA 10 Gyarados. I sold that for $3,000. So now It is probably my first edition Dark Charizard PSA 10.
Yeah.
I got the Blastoise, which is right underneath that. And because I'm still working on the Rainbow Energy. The Rainbow Energy probably around the same price, and then the Dark Magneton is right around $3,000 now. So once I get that,
Hold on, I'm trying to get the.
Claire, that is my favorite. He has my favorite card. That's my favorite Gyarados.
Yeah, this is the one right here.
It's so like you got the boat guy. It's just so menacing. That's a great card.
So.
But yeah, so I'd say my first edition Dark Charizard is probably my most expensive right now. PSA 10. It's probably, I don't know, it's 18 maybe now, maybe even more. Who knows? I haven't checked it in a while. Next week I'll maybe one week we can write it down and I can show off some of my PSA cards. I just bought a big display, like a glass display, to put it all in. So like right now it's kind of just.
So the kids don't get to them.
What's that?
So the kids don't get to them. I can't wait for the day for you to text me and be like, they got into the rocket box or something. Like, I'm just going to be like, oh man, like they're dead.
I know, because I have a bunch of, like, I'm right on Bryce's desk and I have a bunch of just loose first edition packs just laying around until I can put it away. But my most expensive thing is probably my Green Wing base set Charizard box. Or
Probably.
Base set box. I don't know. That's probably close to $7,000 now. I mean, it's crazy.
Gotta make your own HydroPump card selection every week. What do you mean by that, Trainer Wolf? I kind of like the sound of that, but I'm curious on where you're going.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Because we were kind of going with the top 5. Like, I wouldn't mind.
Hey, like, what's my card of the week? Because I've got some, I do have some cool stuff, especially when I bought that full Neo Rev set. Like, there's some stuff in there that like nobody knows. Like, and the artwork is just gorgeous. Like, I'd like to show some of that stuff off, and then some.
Dude, I love the shiny Magic card. That is like it's gold. That's
with all of them swimming in the water is cool.
Yeah, it's gold. That's a really really cool card.
Just individual card picks. We can do that. I like that idea. We'll roll with that. We'll kind of use that as our sign off each week.
Yeah, we'll just do a like a let me write that down. Like a showcase our like a card from our collection.
We'll call it the card of the week. We'll end with that. I just like that. Curious to see what you guys have. All right, we can do that.
Yeah. They say that's an epic card. You need to make a fancy shelf.
Gun case style, yeah. They're pretty good about it. Even though I'm missing a rocket. I'm not missing a rocket pack. I'm missing a fossil pack right now.
You are?
Yeah, the one from the first mystery box I got from you. I can't find it anywhere. And all the cards are in it. Or a card from the chat, too. All right, cool. I just recently got a first ed Pokemon breeder. Fields as a PSA 10 for LSG. Oh, that's awesome.
I saw that. Wait, I saw that. You showed that, right? I saw LSG. Like, was that part of the $500 mystery box you got? That was pretty epic. I remember seeing that. But yeah, we'll start doing like a card of the week from our collection and showing it off. I got a bunch of cool like Black Star. They're not expensive, but the Black Star promos. I got a bunch of those. I'm starting a PSA 10 collection. I'm actually, if you guys go to PSA.com and just like search or like Google PSA.com and search Golden War Turtle, I register all my PSA cards, so I'm slowly getting them all up there, so you guys can see all my collection if you at least my PSA cards. If you go on to PSA.com and the Golden War Turtle, you can. I make it all publicly available.
So I like the next question, and I'm going to answer these. We usually try and keep it to an hour and a half. Let's see here. Do we have any sets that are completed? Yes. I only consider a set completed if it's the master set, and this one's done. So we have a full master set of Hidden Fates. And then in the tin that I just grabbed behind me, we have a full set of Neo Rev. And we're 3 cards away from the master set of Unbroken Bonds as well. That's what we have completed here at our house.
Ooh, I have. I'm pretty close to my first edition Team Rocket binder, so I can show that off. I think randomly enough, I think I'm a the Golbat and the Dark. I have all the hollows. I just need a couple of the non-hollow rares. So that's pretty cool. I also have Gym Challenge I'm working on, first edition, Fossil, and Gym Heroes are the ones I'm working on.
So
I pick them up when I can. They're just those aren't PSA. Those are just my binders.
yeah, I got what do we do? I'll show some of them. These will probably be some of my cards of the week, so I won't show them all off because I actually really like the art here on those Neo Rev sets. But I got a killer deal on a full, very minty fresh Neo Rev set from somebody, and it's probably one of the favorite things I have. It might be the favorite thing that I have in my collection at the moment. But we chase every master set, so we're getting there with some of the other stuff. But Hidden Fates was the big one. It was the one that got Christy into it, so that was the one that we chased down pretty hard, and we got it. I think we've actually almost completed it 2 times through already.
So Epic, what do you got? So what do you have? Like, do you have a single card that's going to beat out the first edition Dark Charizard, or do you have like a purchase that's going to beat out the Dark Charizard? So I think I know what you're talking about.
All right. So Zen said we should maybe later this week we try it.
On Zoom?
Try it on Zoom and see.
Yeah, let's try it.
And see if we can get it.
I know. After we're like done recording this, and I stop recording, like when I load it up, it's split screen. But like broadcasting in split screen, we haven't figured it out. But
maybe we try Zoom, and we can split it, and I'll just run it on OBS as just a screen capture, and it should work. So
yeah, we can do that. It's in.
Oh, he's talking about graded slabs. That's why, not raw cards.
Oh, Epic is?
Yeah. But Zoom only lets you talk for 40 minutes before having to log in again. That's the only downside to it.
Yeah, this we just talk forever.
Yeah.
So phone dies.
Unless you have a paid account. Yeah. We had talked about it. I'm trying to get it set up. We're probably going to do this as a podcast as well. And so that'll be where our paid account is. So you're only allowed like so many months before you have to pay to allow your stuff to be up. And so I'm going to extract audio from each of these and put them up as podcasts. So like if people miss them, I know you don't get a whole lot visually from these except for like his stunning beard right now. But we'll do it as a podcast at the same time. So like if you miss it and you don't want to go back and watch the video and you're just driving down the road and you want to listen to it, like we're going to upload it like that as well, if that's something that people are interested in. Because the subscription is like $10 a month or something to host them on all the major podcast servers. And so that's kind of one of those things moving forward, just trying to get it out there a little bit more.
Yeah, this gray right here is 3 kids, man. That's 3 kids. That's.
But your 3 kids is different. It's like a single one and like twins. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I know the twins. The twins will kind of put you over. You ever try? You don't know what you're doing until you try to teach kindergarten to 6-year-old twins. I mean, it's impossible.
I can't teach kindergarten to a single 5-year-old.
Like, are you supposed to be like chewing crayons and eating glue right now? Like, what am I doing here?
But you failed that class.
I did fail that class. I did fail that class. When every time I open up something from Dave, I'm just like, it just reminds me how awful I am at art. Like how awful I am. Like Bryce can sit there and draw stuff. I am just awful, it's awful.
But
look,
I've got to get ready to put kids down, or at least get kids fed, and I think we're going to watch some family TV this evening. Yeah, again, I appreciate everybody for showing up and showing your support and hanging out with us and, all that kind of things.
Hey, guys, go over to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel. Give me 300. I'm giving away vintage packs when I get to 300. And then also comment #Lugia. We're giving away the Lugia card that we pulled today. for all that you guys are kind of trickling right now, I think that's it.
All right.
All right, guys.
It's good stuff. Happy pack busting. Happy turtling or
Happy-
whatever it is.
Happy turtling. All right, guys. Peace out.
Later. Ah!